Hold up. Y'all are not ready for what just went down in the world of hip-hop legacy, heartbreak, and hidden truths. Just when fans thought the story of King Von had already been told, a shocking twist has surfaced. And it's leaving the internet in absolute chaos. Asian Doll, the self-proclaimed Queen Von, has officially broken down in a tear-filled live that's got everyone asking the same question. What really went down between her, Lil Durk, and King Von's family? In the same breath, Lil Durk, Von's right hand and voice after his death, has gone completely silent. No tweets, no IG stories, no interviews. Fans are shook. Is this guilt, damage control, or is something way deeper happening behind the scenes? And now, with King Von's own family stepping into the spotlight to spill their version of the truth, lines are being drawn, allegiances are shifting, and suddenly, this isn't just about mourning Von, it's about protecting his name. You won't believe the betrayals, accusations, and emotional breakdowns that are unfolding right now. This isn't just rap drama, this is personal, and it's about to get messy. It all started with a quiet Instagram live. No dramatic announcement, no flashy caption, just Asian Doll sitting on the edge of her bed, hoodie pulled tight over her head, eyes swollen like she hadn't slept in days. The comments flooded in instantly. You good, Queen? Von watching over you. Spill it, sis. But for the first few minutes, she said nothing, just sniffled, stared into the camera, and let the silence build tension like a scene from a thriller. And then she whispered 4 words that sent the internet into a frenzy. They lied about Von. Fans were confused. Who lied? About what? But before anyone could process, Asian Doll started speaking, her voice shaky, but her words cutting. She claimed that ever since King Von passed, the people closest to him have been hiding things, twisting his legacy, editing the narrative, and silencing the ones who really knew the truth. And the name she dropped next? Lil Durk. Durk was never there like y'all think, she said, wiping tears from her cheek. He showed love on the internet, but behind closed doors, it was all politics. Fans were shook. This was the same. Lil Durk, who had dedicated songs to Von, who screamed his name on stages, who stood next to him through beef and fame. The same Durk who once said Von was like a brother. But now Asian was painting a different picture. One where Durk's loyalty wasn't as deep as it seemed. But she didn't stop there. She went on to say that after Von died, she was pushed out, not just by Durk, but by people within Von's camp. They wanted to erase me, she said. Erase our story, erase the love. Like I wasn't the one riding for him when nobody else did. And that's when she really broke down. Tears, trembling, hands, her voice cracking with every sentence. I've been quiet. I let y'all paint me like the crazy one. But I loved him. Y'all don't know what he told me, what we planned. The live ended abruptly. No goodbye. Just a frozen screen of her crying, then black. Within minutes, screenshots were everywhere. Rap blogs posted it. Fans started picking apart every sentence. Some were riding for her, saying she had every right to speak up. Others were calling her messy, accusing her of clout chasing. But what no one expected was what came next. King Von's cousin, who had stayed relatively silent through most of the drama, went live just hours later, and he wasn't holding back. Since Shorty wanna talk, let's talk, he said, pacing back and forth in a kitchen with a half-lit blunt in his hand. Von ain't tell her half the shat she acting like he did. Yeah, they was close, but she ain't the only one hurting. He said the family had tried to include Asian in the memorials, the tributes, the projects to honor Von, but she always made it about herself. She wanted control. She wanted to be the face of everything, and when she couldn't, she flipped. But here's where things took a turn that nobody saw coming. He hinted, just hinted, that Von had been keeping secrets, not just from Asian, but from everyone, and that certain things were about to come to light, things that might change how folks look at this whole situation. Fans ran with it. Reddit threads popped up within the hour. Theories flew in every direction. Was Von involved in something even deeper than people thought? Was there a hidden will, unreleased music, or worse, a betrayal from someone close? And still, through all of this, Lil Durk said nothing. Not a tweet, not a like, not a single word. For someone who was always quick to defend his name, quick to clear the air when blogs got messy, his silence was loud. People started questioning everything. If Durk and Von were so tight, why hasn't he addressed Asians' claims? Why hasn't he defended his role in Von's legacy? Was he hiding something too? Some fans started digging into old interviews, looking for moments where Von and Durk's energy seemed off. Others pointed to that one viral clip where Von jokingly said, "I can't trust nobody, not even Durk." At the time, it was brushed off as playful banter. Now, it felt like foreshadowing. The pressure kept building. Asian Doll posted again. This time, a throwback video of her and Von, laying in bed, laughing. The caption, "He told me everything, y'all just didn't listen." Meanwhile, Durk's team stayed silent. No statements, no publicist response, just complete lockdown. And then, out of nowhere, an old interview resurfaced. One that barely got attention at the time. It featured one of Von's childhood friends from Chicago, a guy who claimed he knew both Von and Durk before the fame, and what he said in that interview only added more fuel to the fire. They was close, yeah. But there was tension, the friend said. Money changes everything. Loyalty get tested when you get big, and not everybody passed that test. He didn't name names, but fans connected the dots. Suddenly, the narrative of a perfect brotherhood between Von and Durk started to crack. People began questioning whether Durk really had Von's back, or if their relationship had been more business than blood. And that's where the story picks up in part 2, when someone from King Von's family drops a voicemail that changes everything. The internet barely had time to catch its breath before another wave hit. This time, it wasn't Asian Doll. It wasn't Durk. It wasn't even a blog or a leak. It came straight from the source, someone claiming to be King Von's aunt, and she came with what she said was real receipts. In a now-deleted post, she uploaded an audio clip, a voicemail allegedly left by King Von just days before his death. His voice was clear, his tone serious, and what he said set the internet on fire, on fire. "I don't trust nobody around me no more, not even Bro Nem. I'm watching everything." Those words. Not even Bro Nem. Fans instantly assumed he was talking about Durk. And suddenly, everything Asian Doll had been saying started to feel a little too real. But the aunt didn't stop there. She claimed that after Von's death, certain members of the O-Block circle started moving shady. People changed. They started making money off his name, making moves he never approved of. And the one person Von really confided in, y'all pushed her out. Y'all painted her as unstable, but she knew things none of us did. Now fans were divided. Hard. One side stood behind Durk, saying the voicemail was vague, could have been about anyone. They said Asian was emotional, grieving, and reading too deep into things. The other side, they started demanding answers, and not just from Durk, but from anyone who had a hand in controlling King Von's image after his death. Meanwhile, Asian Doll was posting cryptic stories, black screens with messages like, "You can't fake loyalty forever," and "The truth always comes out." She even posted a photo of her and Von with a caption that read, "He warned me about all of them." But it was what happened next that took this from messy to explosive. A known Chicago blogger, who had stayed neutral for years, released a video titled, "The Betrayal of King Von: What Asian Doll Didn't Tell You." In it, he dropped claims that shocked even the most skeptical viewers. He alleged that there was unreleased footage of Von having a heated argument with someone from his inner circle just 2 nights before his death. He didn't name names, but he hinted strongly that the argument had something to do with money, loyalty, and a plan Von was trying to keep private. And then he said this: somebody was feeding info to the ops, somebody close, and Von knew. That line echoed across social media like a gunshot. Fans immediately started pointing fingers, some at Durk, others at people in Von's crew. A few even suggested industry insiders may have been involved. The theories were wild, unconfirmed, but they were loud and still. Durk said nothing. The silence was starting to look like strategy or guilt. And Asian Doll. She wasn't done either. She went live again. This time, calmer, more composed. But what she said was even more devastating than the first time. Von wanted to leave the streets. He was planning to move different. He was scared. He was trying to separate himself. And not everybody around him liked that. She said Von had told her he felt trapped, that the fame had brought pressure, paranoia, and enemies disguised as friends. He wasn't just worried about his ops, he was worried about the people smiling in his face. She didn't say Durk's name, not once, but fans picked up the breadcrumbs. They always do. Someone in the comments asked, "Why won't Durk speak up?" Asian looked straight at the camera and said, "Ask him that. Maybe he's scared the truth gonna come out." That clip alone hit 1 million views in under 24 hours. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more emotional, Von's younger sister entered the chat. Literally. She posted a series of tweets that sent the timeline into full meltdown mode. Y'all don't know half the story. Everybody got secrets, and some people ain't who they pretend to be. Fans begged for clarification. Was she talking about Asian? Durk? Both? She replied to one tweet that asked if she believed Asian's claims with just one word. Some. Then, she went silent too. Meanwhile, fans began revisiting old interviews, music lyrics, even behind-the-scenes footage, trying to piece together signs of tension between Von and his circle. Some found moments where Von looked distant at events Durk hosted. Others pointed out interviews where Von dodged questions about industry friends. A particularly eerie clip from a 2020 interview showed Von saying, "I only trust myself. Everybody else can switch up." And as these clips resurfaced, they only added more smoke to the fire. But nothing could prepare fans for what came next. A supposed leak from someone claiming to be a former security guard who worked closely with both Von and Durk during tour days. He dropped a voice note in a private group chat that quickly got out. In it, he said, "I seen the tension. Backstage energy don't lie. They wasn't beefing, but they wasn't solid either. Von was pulling back. He had his own plans. Durk ain't like that. That's all I'ma say." Again, unconfirmed, but believable enough to keep the narrative alive. By now, the fan base was completely split. Some still believed this was just messy mourning, people projecting feelings into situations that didn't need overanalysis. Others felt like this was the veil being pulled back, that this wasn't just about music or drama, it was about legacy, about who gets to tell King Von's story, and who might be profiting off a version that ain't entirely true. And still, through it all, Lil Durk remained silent, not even a subtle like. No passive-aggressive stories, just total cold silence. Asian Doll posted one last message that night, a screenshot of an old text from Von that read, "You all I got far, keep my name solid if anything ever happened to me." The caption, "I'm trying." And as that post went viral, one thing became clear. This wasn't just about grief anymore. It was about who King Von really was behind the music, behind the fame, and whether the people shouting his name the loudest were actually the ones he trusted the least. And that brings us to part 3, where Durk's team finally makes a move, but it's not what fans expected. 2 weeks passed. 2 long, tense, silent weeks. Asian Doll kept posting cryptic things. Von's family members continued to dance around the truth, tossing out just enough breadcrumbs to keep the internet hooked. Fans waited, checked their phones obsessively, refreshed Durk's page daily, but there was nothing. No post, no video, no statement. Until suddenly, Lil Durk's team made a move. But it wasn't a press conference. It wasn't an interview. It wasn't even a full post. It was a small change on his Instagram profile, one that most people wouldn't even notice, unless they were looking for it. He removed OTF4 Von from his bio, Fans caught it almost immediately, and it spread like wildfire. Comments exploded, screenshots flew across Twitter, blogs picked it up within minutes. What does this mean? He really distancing himself? Why now? The silence broke, but not in the way anyone expected. And to many, that tiny change said more than any statement ever could. Asian Doll responded in under an hour. She tweeted, "It's the audacity for me. Play victim while you erase history." The war had officially begun, but this wasn't going to stay online. Within days, a source close to King Von's mother leaked that a meeting had happened. A closed-door family discussion about Von's legacy, image rights, and the people profiting from his name. And Durk's name was brought up more than once. The source claimed that some in the family felt uncomfortable with how Von's image was being used for merch, music, and marketing, and that a few projects being pushed under the OTF brand were never approved by the family directly. One family member allegedly said, "This ain't what Von wanted. They turning him into a brand, not a person, not a person." The tension hit new heights when a trailer dropped for a posthumous King Von documentary, produced by a media company loosely affiliated with Durk's label. The timing couldn't have been worse. Asian Doll went live again, this time furious. She accused Durk's camp of monetizing Von's life without real input from the people who loved him. "How are you going to tell his story without the people who lived it with him?" she said, pacing and pointing at the camera. "They cutting everybody out. They want the clean version, the one that sells." The fans went crazy. Some agreed with her. Others called her bitter. But no one could deny one thing. Durk still wasn't speaking. And then finally, in the middle of all the chaos, Lil Durk posted. It was a photo, no caption. Just a black and white shot of him and Von standing together back in 2019. Both of them laughing, arms around each other. Old times. People didn't know what to make of it. Was it a peace offering? A reminder of brotherhood? A silent, "I still love you"? Or was it damage control? Theories flew. Blogs speculated. Fans dissected the post like it was a clue in a murder mystery. And then, the very next day, an unreleased King Von track leaked online. And in it, Von's lyrics raised even more eyebrows. In the second verse, he raps, "I seen the envy in his face when I was up. I thought he was solid, but he changed when it got tough." Fans were quick to claim this was about Durk. Others said it could have been about anyone. But the timing of the leak, right after Asian's accusations, right after Durk's post, felt intentional. Like someone was trying to send a message from the grave. Von's sister tweeted a skull emoji and nothing else. Asian posted the lyrics on her story with no caption. Meanwhile, Durk stayed quiet. But behind the scenes, insiders say meetings were happening. Lawyers were getting involved. And Von's estate, the legal team behind his image, was re-evaluating deals that had previously been greenlit. Allegedly, certain brand collaborations were put on pause. The documentary was delayed, and a spokesperson for the estate said, in a brief statement, "We are committed to telling Von's story with honesty, respect, and the full participation of those who mattered most in his life." It didn't name names, but fans knew exactly who that was about. Asian Doll posted a clip from a song she said she was scared to drop before, one where she talks about betrayal, grief, and watching people wear his face while pushing me away. The comments section was full of people saying, "Drop it. This your moment. They tried to silence you. Don't let them." The song was raw, emotional. Some even said it was the best she'd sounded in years. But even in that moment, controversy followed. A cousin of King Von, not the same. One who spoke earlier, but another, went live saying he felt like Asian was making it about her. "I get it," he said. "You loved him. We all did. But let the family handle the legacy. You grieving different, but you not the only one hurting." That statement sparked another round of arguments online. Was Asian Doll keeping Von's name alive? Or was she using it to keep herself relevant? The debate got ugly. Fans were divided. The internet was eating it up like a live episode of Love and Hip Hop. But for those close to Von, it was emotional, raw, and very, very real. Somewhere in all this, a respected Chicago radio personality dropped a bombshell on his show. He said he'd seen early footage from the documentary and that there were things in it that would not sit right with fans. He didn't elaborate, just said, "Watch who's in control of the story. It ain't always who you think." That one line reignited everything. Who was really writing Von's legacy? Was it Durk, his family, his friends, Asian, the industry? Or was it a battle between all of them, each with their own version of who King Von really was? And that leads us into the final chapter, where unreleased footage surfaces and Durk's silence finally ends. The internet had been holding its breath for weeks, but nothing could have prepared fans for what came next. A private account, known for leaking exclusive content, suddenly dropped a teaser. Just 12 seconds, grainy footage, muted audio, but it was enough to send shockwaves through the entire fan base. In the clip, King Von was sitting on a studio couch, visibly frustrated. He pointed toward the camera and said something, and though the audio was muffled, one phrase was clear: "They ain't really for me." That was it. No names, no context, no full audio. But that one clip sent fans spiraling, because it was real, raw, unfiltered. And it didn't sound like the confident, charismatic Von the world knew from interviews and music videos. It sounded like a man wrestling with betrayal. Almost instantly, rumors began swirling that there was more footage, full convos, private videos, studio sessions where Von opened up about people close to him. And allegedly, those clips had been kept hidden, not by the family, but by people in the industry who didn't want certain truths coming to light. Asian Doll reposted the video with a heartbroken emoji. Von's sister liked the post. Lil Durk, still silent. Until he wasn't. On a quiet Friday night, Durk went live. No announcements, no promotion, just him in a dark room staring at the camera. It took a full 30 seconds before he even said a word. "I don't owe y'all nothing," he started, his voice low, but then he sighed, and for the first time, the pain cracked through. "But I owe Von everything." He didn't name Asian, he didn't throw shots. What he did instead was tell his side. "That's my brother. No internet post gon' prove that. No merch, no bio, no song. Y'all don't know the calls we had, the plans we made. You think I ain't hurt? You think this shot easy?" He paused, looked down, shook his head. Von wanted to make it out. We both did. But the streets don't let you go clean. And when he started talking about moving different, yeah, some people ain't like that. But it wasn't me. He denied ever using Von's name for clout, said the projects and releases were about legacy, not profit, that his team and Von's family had been in touch even if the public didn't see every detail. But most importantly, he said this: "I didn't respond because I've been healing, but don't ever question my loyalty to him. Ever." The internet exploded. Some fans cried. Some called it too little, too late. Others said it was the realest thing Durk had said in months. Asian Doll, moments later, tweeted, "I said what I said." Von's sister posted, "Everybody healing different." But even with Durk finally speaking, the damage was done. Trust had been fractured. Fans who once believed in a tight brotherhood between Von and Durk now saw cracks they couldn't ignore. The drama had evolved into something deeper, a question of ownership, authenticity, and grief. Von's name had become a battlefield. His family quietly released a statement the next day. It didn't take sides. It didn't shade anyone. It simply said, King Von was a father, a son, a brother, a friend, and an artist. His legacy belongs to the people who truly knew his heart. We ask for privacy and unity as we continue to honor him with truth and respect. And with that, the noise began to quiet, but only slightly. Asian Doll dropped her tribute track. Raw vocals, emotional lyrics, no features. It trended for 2 days straight. The top comment under the YouTube video read, "You can feel the pain in every line." Durk didn't repost it, didn't comment, but sources say he listened. And while the drama wasn't fully resolved, something had shifted. The yelling stopped. The cryptic posts faded. Fans began to focus less on who was right and more on who Von really was. Interviews with childhood, friends, old teachers, and mentors began to circulate. People started remembering the young man behind the fame, the funny stories, the loyalty he showed to his day ones, the struggles he overcame before the spotlight hit. And just like that, the narrative turned. Not about who said what, not about who posted first, but about preserving the memory of a man who changed lives, moved the culture, and left this world too soon. In the end, maybe everyone was right in their own way. Maybe Asian was grieving out loud. Maybe Durk was grieving in silence. Maybe the family just wanted peace. But one thing was clear. King Von's story wasn't over. Not by a long shot. His legacy had survived the streets, the critics, and now, even the internet. What happens next? Only time will tell. But the fans, they'll be watching. And just like that, the dust begins to settle. But the wounds, they still feel fresh. What started as whispers on the internet grew into a full-blown storm that shook the culture to its core. Asian doll, pouring her heart out in front of the world, refusing to let her truth be erased.